Pacific Palisades is slowly recovering, and this morning we want to hear how people are moving forward.
That's right. KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas joining us live from the American Legion Post, where we're hosting Coffee with KCAL. Oh, and you have an adorable doggy friend with you. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning, guys. I have Daisy with me and her owner, Andrew, who has quite the story to tell. You and I have gotten to know each other over the last several months, and thank you so much for being here this morning.
My pleasure.
To tell people, you knew Daisy and your two cats were back at the house. You and your wife are on opposite ends of the city trying to get back to these guys.
That's right.
When the fire started.
And we raced, so we got the alert on our app, and being a Southern California, we knew what that meant with the winds that had been blowing that morning. So we all raced back, but at that point, they had started the evacuation. So Palisades Drive and Sunset Boulevard, they were blocked off. I was on this run, I was roughly probably the first set of cars that got to the scene. So we parked to the side, got out of the way of all the emergency responders, and sat there for an hour until things actually got a lot worse. So it progressed down the hill. At that point, we find out later people had evacuated the cars on Palisades Drive, all 4 lanes, and were evacuating by foot. So there was a bunch of non-emergency personnel like myself sitting there on the side on the curb, kind of waiting, hoping to get back in, just to grab the animals and back out. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. At that point, the fires actually did start to flare up around where we were, and people started evacuating.
And that's how you ran into my friend Aaron Sampson, who was trying to get out with his father-in-law, and they had left very, very late because his father-in-law was elderly.
Yes.
You run into them, and you actually picked them up and got them to safety.
Yeah, I think it was one of those.
We have video of this too. I just want to make sure people know that's.
It was towards the end where everybody had started turning around and realizing it was time to evacuate. And out of the smoke came Aaron and his father-in-law, and they were struggling. His father-in-law was on a walker, and he was every step by step by his side, faithful son-in-law. And I started to turn around, and I kind of looked around and realized nobody was there. And the firefighters had their hands full, so kind of just rolled down the window, pulled up next to him, and just said, "Get in the car." Just randomly, just yelling at them, "Get in the car, get in the car."
You didn't know them at all?
I didn't know them. Everything was out the window. It didn't matter who you were, who you were affiliated, your demographics. All that didn't matter at that point in time.
Well, it chokes me up every time I talk to you because knowing them, and I think of just how that family was multiplied through the Palisades. And I'm so happy that you're safe. Your dogs and cats, both, everybody got out, okay?
Everybody got out.
But tell me what life is now like for you. You're living in a 600-square-foot Airbnb with 3 animals. It's got to be a little tight.
It's definitely tight. It's almost like my wife and I are post-college sweethearts, just living in our first tiny apartment, getting by. It's been nice because we have been able to regroup a bit, and the community itself, Pacific Palisades, we've been moved out and displaced, but I think the spirit and everybody working together and remaining in contact with each other. Daisy's trainer still sees Daisy on occasion. It's still, I think, just it's an amazing community that we'll rebuild.
Well, we're happy to hear that, and we want to hear more stories like yours this morning. That's why we're here for having coffee with KCAL. So thank you for bringing Daisy out and for sharing your story this morning with everybody. And we got to get you a cup of coffee. You raced in here. I got to get this guy a cup of coffee, guys.
It is time for coffee, telling all those stories. Jamie, thank you. We are heading back out to the Pacific Palisades now, where we are hosting our second Coffee with KCAL event.
That's right. If you're in the area, we want to meet you and hear how you're moving forward from the fires. KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas is out there this morning. She's been meeting with people and dogs. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning. I have Denali and Leilani with their owner, Eric. Eric, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you.
Eric, I wanted to talk to you because so many people in the Palisades have told me that you were really instrumental in getting so many animals out of the Palisades during the fire, including your 2 who are here today. But how many dogs, cats, birds, how many did you rescue?
Well, I had one dog, Now I forget the dog's name.
It's okay. That's okay.
But I had him because the owners are out of town.
So you're a dog walker and a somebody who's involved with people's pets in the Palisades. You haven't been able to really work much since the fires happened.
No.
Because everybody's spread out all over.
Yeah.
So what has that been like for you?
It's been hard. I've been more at home,
And your house was spared from the fire.
But my two brothers didn't make it up there.
Right. So
the
your whole
Highlands.
family was up in the Palisades. With the so you saved a dog. Number of cats I know.
I saved 2 cats. One I tried, but I couldn't breathe in the smoke. And so I'd come back down the stairs, and when I came out, the whole outside of the garage was on fire.
You really stayed behind when you probably shouldn't have.
Right.
And you have some health implications because of that.
For 3 weeks, I had a real bad cough. And that was because I went in that one house with all the thick smoke.
So why did you stay behind to do this? What do animals mean to you?
They're like children to me, even the ones I take care of for other owners.
So since the fires, you haven't really been able to work. You've had some health implications. How do you see your future playing out?
Eventually it'll get better when people move back in the homes that were saved.
And what are you hearing from people who have been displaced? People whose
A
animals...
lot are still worried about the water, air quality, and me, I still use bottled water even for the dogs.
You do?
Yeah, I don't use the faucet.
And why is that?
Just to be on the safe side, even though they say it's safe.
How else has your life changed? You said your 2 brothers' homes didn't make it. You guys were a pretty tight-knit family in the Palisades. Where are they now, and how are they doing?
One is near Marina Del Rey, and the other one's in Santa Monica.
Okay, so you guys are still relatively close, but not as close as you were.
And then we go, my brother Jeff, we go to the park every day with the dogs.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for coming and sharing your story with us this morning. I think Denali is ready to get out of here and go for a walk. So we'll let you go, but thank you. And for anyone who wants to come down and have coffee with KCAL, we'd love to hear your stories, again, in human form, or your furry friends, too, are invited.
Thank you, Jamie. Pacific Palisades is slowly recovering as well. And this morning, we want to hear how people are moving forward.
KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas joining us live from the American Legion Post, where we're hosting Coffee with KCAL this morning. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning. I'm here with Jim Craig. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. You and I have been talking nonstop. You have so many different stories that you could share with people, but you are part of the American Legion. We're in this building. This building was saved basically because it's underground.
Yes. Yes, the fire burned out all the main buildings around us, the churches, the 2 schools, the library, everything's gone. We got down here, second night of fighting fires, we were on the hillside for 3 hours, got down, pulled up, the building's still here. So we said, okay, we're vets, let's turn this into a command post. What else can we do? Let's start from here. It's called Ellis City, CAL FIRE, and it's turned into a disaster response center on its own, and we've had FEMA in here, Corps of Engineers, everyone in here, but it's also turned into a place to give people hugs and hold hands and help people get through this.
Well, and it has been hard to get through it. You were telling me about your 10-year-old daughter who's struggling. You tried to take her camping to get over it a little bit, and that wasn't necessarily...
She did great all the way through the whole weekend, and then she stood in front of a campfire, and then she cried for about 2 hours. Sorry.
It's okay. And there's so many families like yours.
4,500. We had 1,600 families go through this center. We had 30 agencies in here offering all kinds of support, but every type of person coming through here, every personality, every background, but the tears, the need, and the confusion. And we're veterans, we're military. We're here just because of my battle experience.
You've been in 3 wars.
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
It is a privilege to wear the uniform. I just wish I didn't have to take the role in my home. This is rebuilding. It's not for God and country. Like, this is for my family. This is for my neighbors. This is for my friends. And this is the worst deployment I've been on. But I'm here, and we're going to suck it up, and we're going to do what we can to try and organize this effort. Again, I keep thinking about my daughter, but it's for everybody here, and we're trying to provide They need the hugs, but they need the knowledge. And people are coming down. Hopefully, we can get that knowledge for them.
Well, and you were somebody, you were able to save your home. You were able to save other homes within your neighborhood. But that now has turned into a process of wondering what's the toxicity in the neighborhood and what health impacts could end up impacting my daughter and my family.
Exactly, and it's a shame because we all feel immediately the compassion for those who lost their homes completely, but the battle focus has been on them, and the thousands of families whose houses are still there. We don't know. We don't know. There's no standards being given to us for toxicity. I've got an elderly neighbor who moved back in at the 3-month mark, and she's 85. She doesn't care what happens to her. I've got other people who are saying they're going to be out for 2 years, and everyone in between. The insurance companies, the state, the county, we need to know, and we're here trying to help people understand their toxicity reports, and it's a nightmare. Just adding that to the pain of losing your community, it's tragic, and it's tragic in people's eyes.
I do want to talk about you're providing many great resources here. I talked to the Army Corps who's here, even though the deadline has now passed to opt in for their work to clear lots. They're still here answering questions, and some of these volunteers have been here from across the country for 33, 35 days, some of them. So everyone is here to help.
Yes, we did a flag ceremony. We had 70 flags left over, so we went out and each agency, and it was beautiful because the people were brought in. These feds are coming in from all over the nation. They're here to help us, and it's so symbolic because the people here you feel lost within a city that's still functioning. Psychologically, your world is gone, but the community, the country, national assets, they're here and they're doing their best, and it's a hard process. That's going to take years. Mm-hmm. But we're all here together, and that's why we're all holding flags together. And we posted flags all around the town, so when people come,
I noticed this morning, it was beautiful.
We want people to feel a hug when they drive through that checkpoint. It's going to hurt when they see a burned out home, and then another, and then another, and then you get into the thousands. So I just wanted to put up flags.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story and for all the work you're doing. And that's part of what this morning is all about, is sharing these stories, but also hearing about the resources that are available and just coming together as a community. Rutabaga and Sheba, back to you.
Oh, we absolutely thank him for his service. Sorry he's going through all that, but his community sounds very lucky to have him, Jamie. KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas has been out there hearing from people affected by the fires. Let's check in with her now. Jamie, how's it going?
Sorry, you just had to interrupt me because I was talking to Terry and Joanna here. We're having lots of discussion. Terry about to move back to the Palisades. Unfortunately, Joanna's still dealing with home loss. And these are the types of stories we've been listening to all morning long as we have coffee with KCAL. We'll bring you more throughout the hour, guys.
All right, Jamie, sounds good. We'll see you in just a bit. All right, we're heading back out to the Pacific Palisades where we're hosting our second Coffee with KCAL event.
If you're in the area, we want to meet you and hear how you're moving forward from the fires. KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas is out there this morning. You've met so many amazing people and animals, Jamie.
I have. It's been an incredible group, and I think that's part of meeting here at the American Legion. It's been just such a community event. But I'm with Jessica Rogers right now from the Pacific Palisades Residents Association. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
You still have so many challenges ahead of you personally and as a part of the association. You lost your home. Can you take us through where you're at and what are the immediate needs right now?
So, like every other resident, I still have most residents I will say, I still have a home that's covered in debris. And I still haven't resolved insurance issues, like most residents. And we're looking to rebuild, and we're still waiting on answers from the city in terms of waiving permitting fees, which is critical for most people in this community in order to rebuild. And we're still looking to resolve insurance issues. Some people have no insurance at all. Some people have very little insurance, and some people have just insurance gaps that prevent them from coming back.
Well, you were even surprised to learn you lost your insurance and you did not know.
Correct.
So what has that process now been like to try to figure out and navigate the system?
It's a nightmare. You know, luckily our federal government has stepped in and lots of people have been able to apply for SBA loans. FEMA has come in, the Army Corps of Engineers has stepped in and supported us. We've had so much federal support. We really need state support now. Our mayor has been asking for that, and we need direction in terms of how to rebuild fire-safe homes so that we can be properly insured.
And that's a passion for you too, is not just here in the Palisades as you're rebuilding and putting in some of these fire prevention methods, but you want the entire community of Los Angeles to know that they should right now be going ahead and using some of the tools.
I want all of California to know that there are fire retardant products out there that are EPA approved. There are methods for us to build safe homes to protect whole communities. Our fire departments have been using water only or specific types of fire retardants, but there are safe fire retardants that could be used for our homes. We could harden our own homes and our own lumber with these products. Anybody who's living in a high fire severity zone right now should be reinforcing their homes. One, so that they can maintain their insurance. Two, so that when the fire comes their way, California burns. When the fire comes their way, they don't have to suffer what we've gone through here in the Pacific Palisades.
And we've been talking, there's been a lot of suffering in the community.
There has been a lot of suffering, but there's also a lot of hope. We're a dedicated community. We are working really hard together to rebuild, and we have this beautiful culture and community, and we are going to fight. We're going to make a miracle happen, and 5 years from now, this community will look very different, but we need the support of our government to step up and step in so that we can make this happen. We can't do it on our own.
Jessica, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We'll continue to share stories throughout the morning, but as you can hear, this is something that impacts all of Los Angeles, and you were telling me just off camera that everyone in the community is still a little shell-shocked. So when you're out and you're talking to people yourself, you're not at one of these events, you know, make sure you have some compassion and empathy for our neighbors here in the Palisades and Altadena. Rutabaga and Sheba, back to you.
What an amazing person helping the community heal. Jamie, thank you. And this morning we are hearing how people are moving forward.
That's right. KCAL News Mornings anchor Jamie Yuccas is joining us live from an American Legion post where we're hosting our second Coffee with KCAL. She's been speaking with people this morning about their experiences. And Jamie, who are you with now?
I'm with Associate Rabbi Daniel Scher. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Thank you. The synagogue's been really impacted here in the Palisades on multiple levels. Can you just take people through what you've been experiencing?
Sure. You know, the congregation's about 950 families, and roughly 500 are displaced from this experience. Well over 250 are now finding themselves with homes they have to rebuild. And so our experience of being a community care center, which is really at the end of the day what faith-based institutions are, has shifted. Like our focus, what we're doing, it's not about your weekly regiment as much as this almost faith as a version of trauma and crisis management.
Well, and you're living this yourself. You're about to be on your fourth move. Your house burned down, but the other rabbi within the synagogue also had their house burned down.
Yeah, so all four of us that are clergy of the synagogue, our homes were either burned down or severely damaged. And there's something to be said about that inside this story, right? So right now we're in the middle of Passover, and we're about 4 days into this holiday. And on January 8th, we were making plans for how to still hold a Seder and be a community. And Rabbi Amy Bernstein, Cantor Chaim Frankel, and I really made sure, along with our whole staff, that we would have a place where people could come and gather. And it was really important because in that, we're telling a 3,000-year-old story that you might be displaced, but in this temporary space, you can still build something, and you can build something working towards that homeland that you want to be. And the thing is, we know how special this place is.
I know, but you're displaced over so many different parts of the city now.
Yeah, I like to tell people that we went from being a shtetl synagogue, a synagogue inside the town, to being a diaspora synagogue. And so that means our lesson shifted, our mechanism shifted, but the guiding principle didn't shift. We are finding ways to care for people. And this community is amazingly strong and has seen such dedication to wanting to be here and to rebuild and to being a part of it. And so our job is to help feed that part of your soul, and when it feels tiring, when it feels exhausting, help kind of rejuvenate and kind of give nourishment so we can keep focusing on that rebuild.
Well, I know talking to you this morning, I've had a lot of hope. It's going to take a lot of leaders from many different facets of government, religion, all those types of things. So thank you for being with us this morning.
I'm Rudabe Shabazi.
And I'm Shiva Turk, and for Jamie Yuccas, who is out in the Pacific Palisades this morning. She's been hearing from residents who were affected by the fires. Let's check back in with her. There's a big crowd there sharing their stories, and a familiar face this morning. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, it is a familiar face. It's Tom Wade. Hi, Tom.
How's it going? So glad to be here. This is so special and sweet.
Well, I wanted to say, your aunt lives here, and we all saw you the day of the fire, covering the fire. What have you learned today that's been new for you, or something impactful?
I think it's just hearing the stories of people talking about how powerful this experience has been for them, and just how life-changing it is. And every time you hear a story, it doesn't. It's so emotional. Even just driving in here, I get so. I get emotional seeing it. Because my aunt lived here and lives here, and I spent a lot of time growing up here, and just seeing the grocery stores gone, and hearing the stories. It's really intense, and I think that. Every time you hear somebody talk about what they went through, whether it was escaping or now rebuilding, and there's a lot of hope too. I talk to people here whose lots are now getting cleared. They're seeing their houses, in the process of maybe being rebuilt, and they just want their community back. People want hope, and they want to come home.
And that really is the message of the morning, and those are the stories I'm hearing as well. There's so many people filtering through this morning. We want you to come, if you're still watching, and there's still time to come out here and have a cup of coffee with us. So Rudabe and Sheba will continue to share these stories throughout the morning.
We are heading back out to the Pacific Palisades, where we're hosting our second Coffee with KCAL event.
And if you're in the area, we do want to meet you and hear how you're moving forward from the fires. KCAL News anchor Jamie Yuccas has been out there all morning long, and let's get back out to her. She's chatting with another person impacted by the fires. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning, you guys. I'm with Joanna Curtis. Joanna, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for talking with me this morning.
I love your sweatshirt.
Thank you, PalisadesGiftShop.com.
Get a little plug in there. But this community, it is strong. What I'm hearing this morning is that there is a real strength to everybody who's here.
This community is a very special community. It is a community of multi-generational families that have been around for years and years and years, and we all know each other, and the kids all come back like me. I grew up here in the Palisades and was fortunate enough when I had my own family to be able to find a house and be able to buy our little Palisades dream and move my family here so that they could have a magical childhood.
You've lost your home?
Yes, it's a total loss in the Alphabet Streets.
That itself is devastating, but what you're talking about in terms of community, what I'm hearing this morning is there are things in this community like the 4th of July parade. There are all these special moments for people that now aren't happening.
The Palisades will rebound. I know that we will. We've already got the 5K run. It's going to be done in Venice this year. They just announced that yesterday. We will have a 4th of July parade. If it is not this year, it will be next year.
You're going to do it.
It is coming back. And this community is, so just central to the relationships. And that's what I'm really missing. I'm missing my community. I miss going into the grocery store and seeing my neighbors, and then checking out, and the checker knows my kids. They ask me about my kids. They've watched my kids grow up, and and that's what I'm truly missing in my life right now. I go to the grocery store and I know no one.
Yeah, it makes sense. I hope an event like today is something that is helpful to the community in that way with what you're talking about. I've seen a lot of people giving hugs and sharing stories, and so thank you for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Well, and thank you for supporting our local businesses by buying some coffee from them.
They are very cute cups.
They are adorable. They have been pink for years, and I love that they have love these pink cups at Garden Cafe. And, you know, and it's nice to be able to have this American Legion space to connect, to know that if I come here on a day when I'm in the Palisades, I will always find someone that I know that I can talk with and, you know, and reconnect.
Which is important. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you being with us this morning. And we just continue to hear these stories that I think also resonate in terms of hope and with the rebuilding process out here. Rudabeh and Sheba?
Absolutely. You can understand when she says she just wants to go back to the grocery store she's used to going to. People want a sense of normalcy.
Where community meets commitment.
Yeah, together we're really helping rebuild SoCal. Jamie Yuccas is live in Pacific Palisades offering support and, yes, a place to heal. Jamie, you get a lot of folks that have been out there this morning.
Oh, we've had so many great conversations, but an important one right now, Angel Ceseda, thank you so much for being with us with the American Red Cross. You guys have been doing such important work, and really your message is we're still here.
Yes.
So tell people what you're doing and if they are in need of resources, how you can help.
Yeah, so right now the recovery process is ongoing. We are going to be here for the long term, for years to come. We're helping multiple agencies set up where we can have resources all together for our partners, anyone who's impacted, for the community. We are consistently working to make sure that we are providing as many recovery resources as possible. That includes giving grant funding to different organizations and nonprofits who are helping the impacted individuals, to giving direct financial assistance to our impacted families who are here, you know, rebuilding, going through recovery, consistently having to go through these different hurdles. We're trying to help remediate and help get them over those hurdles so they can have a successful recovery.
Well, I think that's what's been so interesting to me today is hearing from people who, you know, maybe they did get their lot cleared or they've started some of the process to try to move forward with their life. But there's still so many questions about so many things and resources are needed.
Yeah, so one of the things that we set up, or they're called multi-agency resource centers. We set one up in Palisades a couple weeks ago. It's still ongoing here at the American Legion, and we're setting one up in the Pasadena area to make sure that it's a longer term so the residents who have been affected by the area can come to it and have all of the resources all together at once. From the Emergency Network of LA is our partner with it. We are bringing together housing agencies, the LA Housing Agency. We're bringing together FEMA, anyone who needs help to recover, like Hope Crisis Network, so they can get debris removal, remediation, where you can come sit down with the agency in person, set up an appointment, sit down, have it set, and then you can there will be tables and tables and tables of agencies who are there to help you so you can get through that process and explain it to you, because it's a lot of work. It's confusing sometimes, and not everyone understands what all the words on the page mean, and you're overwhelmed from feeling, you know, you're still in recovery. So we try to bring everyone that can help you together so you can go like one table at a time and get it all done in the same day. Hopefully that's our goal.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing since the beginning.
No problem.
And thank the Red Cross as well. It's just been an absolute tremendous morning, hearing people's stories, hearing about some of the resources still needed. But I am so moved by all the hope that is in this community about rebuilding and making sure that they bring Pasadena back to the community they know it to be. Chris and Amy, back to you.